Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I am unplugged, pajama, still just taking it not so quickly on this Sunday morning, but ready to meet with all of you. And yesterday we were in the car, first time to do the devotional through the car. But hopefully it came through okay. And today, of course, I'm back in this is our family room, music room, to my teaching room. This is our side yard behind us here, and our little antenna right over here that sits in our window because we just get a few stations on our big TV. Anyway, all that to say, good morning. We were in the midst of reading about the descendants of Ham yesterday, and the Lord just gave me a word, and it kind of just went to 8 o'clock, and I met early at 7:45 and couldn't keep going because being in the car and having to drive. So I didn't get through all of the descendants of Ham like I wanted to, and today I was going to start the descendants of Shem, but we'll keep going. Again, if you were not able to join us yesterday and you have any desire to encourage someone that's been actually in the military, there was a word for people who have fought in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. And I just wanted to offer that to you to go back to from yesterday. Let's just start reading. Hopefully somebody will jump on here with me and let me know you're here if you are. I'm going to reread what we read yesterday and then just keep going from there. So we're in chapter 10 of Genesis, and I think we're in verse 9. Okay, the sons of Ham, that's where we are, were Ethiopia, Egypt, Libya, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabteka. The sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush also had a son named Nimrod, who became known as the first mighty conqueror. He was a mighty despot before Yahweh. There was a saying, like Nimrod, a mighty despot, and I don't know if it's despo or despot. Someone might be able to tell me. Before Yahweh, there was a saying, like Nimrod, a mighty despot before Yahweh. The centers of his kingdom, Babel, Erech, and Akkad, were in the land of Shinar. From there he went into Assyria and built the cities of Nineveh, Rehoboth, Ir, Calah, and Rezin, which is between the great city of Calah and Nineveh. All right, so we were last reading and praying about Nineveh, and then now we're going to go on into verse 13 and read. Hi, Denise. Good morning, Gail. We're going to read on here about the rest of the lineage of Ham. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrusites, Casluhites, and Caphtorites, the ancestors of the Philistines. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, the Hamites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Archites, the Sinites. It might be Archites and Sinites, Hivites. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. The Arvadites, the Zimrites, the Hamathites, the families of the Canaanites, eventually scattered across the Canaanite territory, extending from Sidon toward Gera to Gaza, including Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Sebolim, as far as Lasha. These were the descendants of Ham by families, land, language, and nations. Sorry, despot, the T is sounding. Okay, thank you, Gail. All right, so I wanted to start here with some of the meanings of these words starting in verse 13. I did, excuse me, I did go through and make another outline for Ham's descendants and one for Shem's. So I've been working pretty hard on organizing these names. I have it. I'll have it if it's not already up on the timeline of mine. You'll see it after this because I can't remember if I took the next step and posted it last night or not. But it will show the name, the meaning, and if it's given where they settled, into what part of the earth. That is listed there too, and that is just good for knowing. For as we were learning with Japheth, we were learning about praying through our bloodlines and where we originated from, and yeah, it's good to know where people groups come from, what sort of person was at the beginning of their settlement, what their characteristics were like, and what we can watch out for or pray for. So let's look here at the Ludites, Ludites, which means firebrands. These people were known as warriors, and they were the descendants of the Egyptian people, and they could be the people who now live in Libya or Lydia. And then the Anamites means affliction of the waters. Affliction of the waters. These were an unidentified people who were descendants of Egypt. Affliction of the waters. Does that mean that the waters were made red with blood? Does that mean the waters were scarce? What does that mean? The Lahabites were considered descendants of Libya. The Naphtuhites may mean people of the Nile Delta. They were in the Nile Delta. The Pathrusites were inhabitants of Upper Egypt. Do you have any friends from Egypt that you could tell this to? This is so good for them to know. Some scholars, let's see, the Philistines, the ancestors of the Philistines, it says in verse 14, the Philistines were from the area of the Aegean Sea and invaded the land of Canaan and Egypt in the 13th century BC. Okay, Sidon, S-I-D-O-N, that means hunting. These were hunters. This represents all of Phoenicia. And Heth, H-E-T-H, is the Hittites, another word for Hittites. Sorry, I'm trying to see these teeny tiny letters. Heth means terror, the Hittites. The father of the Hittites, a dominant tribe in Canaan. The Jebusites, this part is really interesting to me in verse 16. The Jebusites, listen to this, they were the people of the threshing floor. The Jebusites were the people of the threshing floor, but there's something in this because they were the ancient inhabitants of the Jebus, a stronghold that David conquered when he was king. When he established Jerusalem, David purchased from Araunah the Jebusite. This is in Joshua 15:8 and 2 Samuel 5:6-9. He purchased the land of this Jebusite that was the threshing floor, and he turned that into the land where the temple was built, the plot of land upon which the temple would later be built. Now, what are threshing floors made for? Give me some feedback. When you hear the word threshing floor, what do you think of? Grinding up of wheat or grains. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, thank you, Denise, for letting me know. The threshing floor is a place where they grind up the wheat. Yeah, I can tell that my computer is kind of jumping. It keeps buffering, yeah. Anyway, the threshing floor is where they grind up the grain, but it turned into the place where they built the temple. And so I just want the Lord to connect those two dots for us. If you have any thoughts about that, I know that there's something there, that was the ground that they used. And then, so then we're going to go on to the Amorites, which means talkers. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about how, did they name these people before they became talkers, or did they name them and then they became talkers? Were you just destined to be a talker? Because the next person's name meant clay dwellers, the Girgashites. They were on the east of Lake Galilee, and the Hivites were villagers. They were located in Gibeon. But the next people, the Arkites, their name meant gnawing, like chewing. And I thought, that is so funny. What if your name meant gnawing? I'm so sorry about the way this is buffering and going kind of cuckoo. I hope everybody's connection isn't bad.